Hi there, South Florida sister fans. Welcome to the live meeting with Meet the Sisters. I am Sister Finga Lickin good, and we also have with us novice sister Iva. And why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Well, hello, everybody. My name is Iva Goturbak, and I am novice sister with the House of the Rising Sun. And it's my pleasure to be here with you.
Very good. And
Thank
it
you.
is a great pleasure. And the good thing about this is, Sister Iva, is we haven't had the opportunity to paint or be together since February with all this COVID. So what do you think about that?
Well, I think you did an amazing job tonight with your four hands. It was absolutely fabulous. And I myself, with no help, did pretty good myself. But thank you. And it's been very hard not actually having to be able to get together. And I think one of the best things with the sisters is actually getting together in our big groups that we do when we go out for an event or something and paint. We learn from each other and learn new ways. And that's one thing that's really attracted me to the sisterhood and the bond that we share, together. It's those nights that we get to sit together and paint. It's always a fun thing. Not the same.
Yes, it is. I agree with that. And it's really it has that good camaraderie. And we do have Austin Summers that's saying hi to us.
Oh, hello, Austin.
Yeah. So what we'll do tonight is we're just going to answer a few questions and go back and forth. And if you have any questions, please ask us, and we have someone kind of moderating those questions for us, and we'll answer them to the best that we can. But how about this, Sister Iva? So if you were a fruit, well, we're kind of fruity, maybe. I don't know. What kind of fruit would you be and why?
Well, one would think that we would always choose a banana, I would assume. Actually, my favorite would be an apple. And I've thought seriously about this, not only because I love apples, but, apples come, they're bright and they're shiny. And then they have their dull moments. They have a little tough skin on them, but when you bite through, you get to the sweetness or the tartness that always shows in our personalities. So I'd have to say I'd probably be an apple.
Oh, that's very good.
What would you be? Just out of curiosity, being my sweet mother you are.
So, that was a good, tough question for me too. I think I would be a kiwi, because even though green is not my favorite color, I don't really like green so much, but I love the tartness of a kiwi and how you can keep the fruit, slice it in half, and scoop out from the middle and eat it. So I just really like the kiwi. And so that's what I would be, I think, as a kiwi. It's a tropical fruit. And, we're coming to you live, actually, from Fort Lauderdale, South Florida. So, we got to keep within that theme anyway.
Marco.
And who?
Say hi to Marco.
Hi, Marco. How are you?
Marco.
And John Blankenship, which is Brother Brim. So, Iva, we're just getting a field of people joining us, and we can entertain as we go along.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we'll answer another question, then we'll go back and talk about some other things. So what is your zodiac sign, and does your personality really match the qualifications or the qualities of your zodiac?
Well, I'm a Libra, and I'm born on October 22nd, so I'm on the cusp, but my whole life has always been a balancing act. I love to ride the fence on many different angles, and right now, especially politically, but we won't talk about my political opinions. But
you go. Let's not get into that.
I do believe I see things from two sides. It's very hard for me sometimes to make a decision, and then sometimes it's very easy. But those are certainly traits, that Libras carry, typical Libras carry. So yes, I think I do match the Libra sign.
Okay.
About the house and the moon, because I know nothing about the house and the moon except for my house and my own moon.
Well, there you go. And mine would be a Scorpio. So my birthday is Halloween, and I don't really follow zodiac signs, and I don't really pay so much attention. But it says you have a calm behavior, And I think for the most part I do, until you kind of push me over the edge and I'm ready to go over the cliff, then look out. It wouldn't be pretty. So
Yeah.
yeah, but otherwise, Scorpio, um, and I guess I get along with everyone. So I don't follow any of that. So it's kind of hard to say. I don't really read and follow the zodiac signs so much.
Yeah, I'm not much into the zodiac sign.
Yeah, that's like you. I can't keep up with all that. It's a little bit too much. So for those of you who are just joining us, we're doing Meet the Sisters live from South Florida. And my name is Sister Finga Lickin Good. And we have novice sister Iva with us. And we're going to be answering questions and talking between ourselves. And if you have any questions that you'd like to ask, please do. And we'll answer them the best we can. And Iva, go ahead and reintroduce yourself for those who are just joining us.
Okay, hello, my name is novice sister Iva Goturbak, and I am fairly new with the sisters. I've been progressing for almost a year now, actually just a little over a year. So I've gone through 3 of the steps. I'm in my final phase of the novicery, and then moving up, hopefully to become a fully black belt nun.
Do you find that it's been a good process for you?
It's an interesting process. I think the mission, or the spiritualness that's there is certainly something that I've always been attracted to in, other than in my other drag lives. But it's a different approach, and it's a soft, calm approach and a helping approach, from a different angle, where the emphasis is not so much on fundraising, but on a ministry to the community. And that's the part I like the best, I think.
Yeah, that's good. That's the same thing here. Yeah, that's good. And I think that's a question coming up a little bit later that we'll discuss this too. I know some people are having trouble getting in, but hopefully they can go to the Facebook Live and see us there as well.
It's awful when you have problems getting in.
Yeah, there you go. And we have Sister Iona who is watching us. So hello, sister.
Hello, Sister.
My crib sister. Her and I started this journey together, and love me some Sister Iona. So, Sister Iva, what is your favorite color?
Well, my favorite color of all time has always been red. It's interesting because most people think my favorite color is pink. I love pink, but red has always been my favorite color. It's a rich and a royal color and a regal color, and it looks good on me. And so it just has always been a color that I had picked out for myself early on in life, even though my birthstone is also pink. So, but yeah, I always like to tell people that because they always think automatically it's pink.
Okay, well, that's good. Do you wear a lot of pink makeup, or is that why they think that, or?
Well, I think it's, with my other drag life, so it has a lot to do with it. And pink is always, I think, a nice color, but I always like pink on men more than I do on drag queens. So
gotcha.
Yeah. And what's your favorite color? Because I don't think
so mine has always been yellow. So I've just always been attracted to yellow since I was little, and I just love anything with yellow, all shades of yellow. It doesn't really matter. Just it's very sunny and bright. And so it always have attracted me to that color. So I don't have a lot of clothes or anything that I wear in yellow. As you can see in my veil, I have some yellow, but I just always have been attracted to that because it's sunny and bright and try to keep a smile on people's face.
It is a good color.
Yeah. So what drew you to joining the sisters?
Pardon, what was the question?
What drew you to join the sisters, become follow the process in becoming a sister?
Well, I've been familiar with the sisters from way back when I lived in San Francisco, and I'm a saint in the sisters in San Francisco.
Uh-huh.
I never anticipated joining the sisterhood down there, mainly because we were all in, in San Francisco, you were all part of, one organization, you're part of all the organizations and they all work together. So
Right.
um, I've been fascinated by the costumes and the nun and especially the white face, that goes along with it. When I moved here to Florida in 2003, several years went by and I did, approach the sisters at that time. It was a whole different group. I went to several meetings and I just wasn't, it wasn't my cup of tea. So I kind of fell away. So this
Hmm.
past couple of years, I've been thinking more about doing it. And of course, I just tend to get myself involved in more and more things, and which is, part of my being. And I decided that I was going to carve out some time, for the South Florida Sisters. So that's when I decided to make it my journey to go ahead and join.
Very good. So I think for me, when I was around, I first moved to Fort Lauderdale in 2010 and waited a few years, but saw the sisters on the drive. And I thought, what's that all about? And so it was very interesting. And then talking to them and their mission, and then going through and that they love to do. Our main purpose is fundraising, community service, and education. So
Mm-hmm.
I thought, that's really good because I love serving the community and I love helping people. And if you can do that with the anonymity and so forth, and them not knowing and feel comfortable thinking that you're a nun, then that would be a good ministry to be involved in. So it's always it's pulled me in, and I just love the interest and how we can minister to the people and give them some glimmer of hope if they're feeling down or want to talk about a very serious subject.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So the other thing is that we had a question posed to us from Austin Summers, who said, why did you pick your name, or explain to me how you chose your name and why did you pick it? How did you pick your name and what did you come up with?
So, I think because my drag life is one thing, and
Uh-huh.
I believe the sister life is a completely different track and a whole different venue. So, as much as I love my drag name, I didn't feel that it might not be the right thing, to try to push it or mix it together with the sisters. So I had to really think a lot about, my name. But in truth,
Uh-huh.
I had a very, very good friend of mine in San Francisco. Her name was Sister Patty Maybe Hostel.
Oh,
And we were really good friends for a long time. And when she was alive and was running around, we were both involved in the same organizations, her a little bit more than me. I had asked her about that name, and she says, "Well, because of my personality, I can be really hot today, and I might be really hostile, and tomorrow I might be really, really eager."
uh-huh.
If I go back and I look at myself, I've always been the savior type that I want to help everybody. That's my goal in life. If I make one person smile a day, my goal's been met. So
Oh,
I
very good.
kept trying to come up with something that was going to work there. And somehow or another, with my big sister, my name, Iva came out, and then got your back. And that's, it's more of a slang of saying, hey, Iva got your back. If you need some help, come to me. And it just
There
kind
you
of,
go. That's very good. I like that. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So mine, I think, was so I'm from Kentucky. For those of you who don't know that, and home of Kentucky is home of Kentucky Fried Chicken. So my original name, when I was going through, I had thought would be Sister Southern Finger Licking Good, and then that just got to be a little bit too long and wordy, and so then we dropped the Southern, and so then I just said, how about Finger Licking Good? And they said, well, that's their motto, finger licking good from the KFC. So we decided to change and drop the finger and just make it Finga. So, and I added this, finger licking good. So that's where that comes from. It's just being born and raised in Kentucky and liking Southern fried chicken. And we used to have that on Sundays after church. And so I just stuck with that name and that's how we got it.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah. So do we have another question? Oh, okay. And hello, Anastasia. Thank you for joining.
Hi, Anastasia.
So again, we're just meet with the sisters and just going through some various questions, trying to get to know us. And if you have any questions, please feel free to pipe in, and we have a moderator giving us those questions, and we'll just keep it going. So, Sister Iva, where are you originally from? I don't think we've ever talked about that, or people probably don't know.
Well, I was so young when I was born, I don't remember exactly where I'm from. So, but I do know I was born with my mother, and actually I was born in San Bernardino, California, and
Oh,
I was born on March Air Force Base when my father was in the Air Force. And
okay.
it's, well, March Air Force, I'm sorry, Norton Air Force Base is no longer there. And the building was obviously since condemned since I came into the world.
Oh, wow.
But that's where I'm from, born and raised in California. My parents divorced when we were in grade school, and my dad moved to Alaska. Hence, I always say I'm from Alaska and California and Alaska.
So you lived in Alaska as well?
I did. I lived in Alaska. Well, I grew up, going to Alaska, but in the, I want to say the 80s, I did late 80s. I did move to Alaska and lived in Anchorage for many, many
Oh,
years,
wow.
and then went back to California, and then eventually came here to Florida in 2003.
Very good. So as I said earlier, I'm from Kentucky, but I'm from Danville, Kentucky, which is about 36 miles south of Lexington and probably, I don't know, 75 miles north of Corbin, which is the home of Kentucky Fried Chicken and Colonel Sanders. And I lived there until I graduated high school. Then I moved to Florida, stayed with my grandparents for a little while. And I really didn't know them so much and had met my dad, but they had divorced when I was probably one or so, and he lived in Florida, and we never really communicated. And so then, after I lived in South Florida, moved up to Central Florida and was there for 25 years, got divorced, long story short, and now I'm back here in Fort Lauderdale. I've been here for almost about 11 years now. So I pretty much now say, since I've been in Florida for 40 years, that I'm a Floridian, and I just call Florida almost my home now.
So did you actually meet the Colonel?
I did not. I wanted to, but I never did get to meet him. However, I do have a picture was sitting on his lap at that first Kentucky Fried Chicken restaurant. Does that count?
Kind of. Well, you were on his
So there you go. Okay. So you kind of talked about how long you've been a sister. So I didn't talk about me. So I've been with the sisters for 5 years, actually this month, and a fully professed sister for 4. So I started in 2015, went through my aspirancy, postulant, novitiacy, and became a fully professed sister in May of 16. And so then, just doing everything. But with this crazy coronavirus and all of that stuff, it's just been very difficult for us all to have the camaraderie and go out and do the things that we used to do. So, it really makes it kind of bad, but I really love it. So
we have a question.
So there has been a question raised
she is from Salt Lake City, I'm guessing.
SLC.
No, STL.
That's St. Louis, I think. Is that from St. Louis? Maybe STL.
So her name is Lady Promiscuous Rex.
Her name is Lady Promiscuous Rex.
What inspired you to become a sister?
So what inspired you to become a sister?
Again, I think it's part of just who I am. I love helping people. I'm a nursing home administrator and a licensed nursing home administrator in California and here in Florida. And I'm actually the executive director of a retirement community. So most of my work has always, I've always been since high school attracted to work with the elderly. I think here in Florida, my vision has changed quite a bit because I look to the seniors as being the most underserved part of our LGBT community. So I'm always on the forefront of trying to help out in those arenas. And I think in general, I've always been the type of person who wants to help. My entire life has been, I came out in the beginning of the AIDS crisis, and we did everything we could to try to help, and we still do everything we can do to try to help with the AIDS crisis. But the sisterhood was a way for me to kind of branch out in a different fashion, more of a ministry type person, of giving my ear and listening to someone else's problems, even more so in depth than what I've always done before. So that's really the one thing that's always attracted me the most.
Right. I think for me, it was how the sisters are really out there in the community and how they're helping people as well. So one of my favorite things is when you go to an event and people come up to you and they disclose all this information that you normally would do. And then they may or may not say, "Oh my God, you're a nun. Can you please say a prayer with me or a blessing or anything like that?" And so then there's like, "You're not going to tell anybody, right?" And I'm like, "No, we're sworn to secrecy." And that's why we have the face that we do, because once you tell it to us, we take it in and keep it very sacred. And then when we wash all of this off, that goes away with it. We would never repeat any information that you told us. So I think having that intimate conversation with people and being able to be a listening ear and to help them, I think is really very moving for me. It can be spiritual or just a moving experience. So I really enjoyed that a lot.
It's a beautiful way to put that with, the confessions and the listening and taking it all in. And then at the end of the night, it all goes away.
Right.
I think that was the thing. I didn't understand the white face in the very beginning, but that's one of the things that I've grown to respect even more is, you can walk around with a group of sisters and you're recognizable. People see you. They know that they can come out and talk to you. They know that you're working when you're out.
Right.
You're not just out to party and, just we're there for a reason, and people recognize that. And I don't think there's anything better to hear. I remember you guys asking me in the beginning, when I think was that first event we went to was the Gay Pride in Homestead or. Yeah, we were down. What was that?
Hialeah.
In Hialeah.
Yeah, and we were walking up, and people were saying, "Well, hello, sisters, hello," and in Wilton Manors and wherever we go, even over in Fort Myers, the people would see and they say, "Hello, sisters," and it's kind of a nice feeling, to be recognized as that. But then tonight we wash it all off and we wash it down the drain so that it's gone. That's where Iva Goturbak came from. Give it to me, put it on my back. I'll make sure I take care of those things and those burdens, wash them away.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean we're going to forget about that, because that can be a very moving experience. But at least we know that it goes away. We won't repeat that information. That's so private, to the people. So very well said. Yeah, I agree. We have another question. And it says,
it's from Austin Summers.
It's from Austin Summers.
I always see different hats.
And she's asking, I always see different hats.
Are there differences?
Are there differences
for
each kind of hat? So yes, there is, Austin. So when you see, for example, tonight, you're seeing two different hats itself. So with the novice sister, she has to wear the hat and it has to be a white veil. Until she becomes a fully professed sister, it has to stay white. Then when you become a fully professed, then it can go to black. Or as you can see, I'm wearing any color. So it does make a difference throughout your postulancy, your novitiacy. It has to say a white veil, and that's what the distinguishing point is, or part of that. And then once you become a fully professed, I can choose any color veil I want. For prides, I can wear pink. If it's for breast cancer awareness, I could wear the pink. I can wear the black. If I chose to wear a white, I can do that. So it can be any kind of veil that you choose that maybe coordinates with your outfit or any headgear that you want to use.
Yes.
You have another question.
So one of the other questions that is on our list, it says, if you were stranded on a deserted island, what music CD would you take with you? So that's a good question, Iva. What do you think about that one?
You
There's
know,
a lot of music out there.
I don't know if I would want a CD. However, there was I'm a really freak when it comes to music because I like all different genres of music. So it depends on what I'm into. And I wish that I could remember what this was, but it was on Good Morning America or something the other, maybe a month ago. And it was a husband and wife that was playing, and the wife was playing the violin and the husband was playing something else, but they were, one was on the outside, one was on the inside, and they were playing to a window to each other. And the music was so beautiful, it woke me up out of my sleep. And I was just completely mesmerized by how beautiful this music mixed together. So if I could tell you, if there was only one piece of music, it would be that one. But obviously, I'm not going to get it because I don't remember who it is. I also like absolute silence. So
you'll have to research that and maybe come up with the name of that song.
Yeah.
So for me, I don't know. On a deserted island, I don't know that you can take a CD if you're going to have electricity, I guess would be my thing. And so then in your mind, I think if I could take a CD, I love the group Il Divo. And for many, many years, there are 4 guys that's from out of the country in the United States. And you listen to them and they have more of an operatic voice. And so I finally had the opportunity to go see them in Orlando this last fall. And I know some people are saying they're having trouble getting in, not to change the subject, but they are supposed to go to the live Facebook of the sister page. Is that correct? I think so. So I'm sorry that you're having trouble getting in, or maybe it's not working properly, but we hope you can. We're doing a Meet the Sisters. But back to the question of the CD. So that would be one of my music. But I'm so much in love with music as well from different genres, like yourself, Iva, that for those of you who don't know, that I do a lot of sign language. So I can keep myself entertained with having songs run through my mind and just signing the music, in my head. So I don't know that I really need the music either. So, keep yourself entertained.
Think about it. You don't need a mirror to have a conversation with yourself.
That is true. Yeah. So do we have another question?
We do.
Okay.
From Sarah.
And this is from Sarah.
Hi, sisters.
Hi, sisters.
Do you guys also have a softball team?
Do you guys also have a softball team?
Awaits for Sister Amora
to kick her in the shin. So, Sarah, unfortunately, the sisters at this time, we don't have a softball team. But, maybe that's something we could consider. That might be kind of... that might be, and she says, that might be something that we could drum up. I don't know that some of the sisters, as hot as it gets here in South Florida, what do you think about that, Iva? To have our face kind of run down. I typically don't have that issue, but playing softball and running around in dress, I think our attire might have to be just a little different, but it might work. What do you think?
I think more of a kickball.
Kickball. Okay, so that works.
I can't see the balls anyway, so if it's not a great big old beach ball, forget it. But
unless they're hanging low, huh?
I think that in different cities, Finga, it's interesting because different cities have different things, and I remember running like a bowling league in Alaska.
Oh yeah, okay.
And none of us could bowl. We were the worst team on the circuit, and it was the Regal handicaps, and so we lost every game, but we had more fun, getting together with other people once a night that when you bring up softball, like my thought is my childhood and how I was forced to play softball.
Uh-huh.
But when you do stuff like that, you actually end up having fun and find out that you might have a little competitive side to you. And
True.
that's interesting. It always takes someone like Sarah to bring that up, and you say, "Hey, let's try that." That may be kind of cool.
Yeah, it would be. And so then, like you said, if you lose, it doesn't matter about the losing. It's about the camaraderie and having fun with the other teams, that's around, in the circuit that you're playing around with.
The other teams would know that they have an easy win coming up.
There you go. We have another question.
Sister Lady Promiscuous.
And this is from Sister Lady Promiscuous.
For you.
For me, for Sister Finga.
What are your projects?
What were my projects? So my project in my novitiacy is I did an educational project because my background and my parents were both deaf. I did an educational project of sign language. So what I did is I had a lot of the sisters in the house. As you know, that's what we're supposed to do, have our other sisters help us with our project. I got everybody together and I had some sandwiches and pizza and so forth. And then I just held a sign language class that probably lasted, I don't know, 1 to 2 hours, maybe a couple of hours. But then I also invited some of the deaf community, some of my friends that I know. And then what I did is I paired up after we went through the basic alphabet and the numbers and so forth. I paired up the sisters in different groups. And then I put one of the deaf people in the community with the people in the house and those that attended. And we kind of all had a conversation going and all that. And I think it turned out really, really well. People really enjoyed it. So that was a very good question. Thanks for asking.
You have another question.
And another question has been raised.
From Austin Summers.
From Austin again. Boy, he's got the questions tonight, doesn't she?
She's a chatty girl.
Chatty Cathy going on.
The sisters, what's the difference between the sisters and the court?
So there's a question been raised of what's the difference between the sisters and the court. So because we're both, and we're on just a meet the greet with the sisters, we're not going to bring the court so much into it, but only to say that we both organizations do fundraising and reaching out to the community. So they were both started in San Francisco, but I think for this venue, it's best if we kind of keep those separated. Iva, what's your thought on that?
I would say the same thing. I think they're two different organizations, and this one obviously is they operate differently.
Yeah.
And I think you can be part of both of them, and but I personally, and mainly since I'm a novice right now, I try to keep my court life separate than with the sisters right now.
Correct. Yes, and I agree with that. And so even though, it's different paths that each one of those take on different venues. So I think other than just saying that they both deal with one of our aspects of fundraising, theirs is as well. I think we'll just keep it at that and then leave it go.
Sister Mary said hi.
So Sister Mary is saying hi to us. Hi, Sister Mary. We're glad you joined. And everyone that's joined, we really appreciate your time.
Because
so let's see. What is your diva? And explain why if you have one, Iva.
I don't think I have a diva. I think the closest thing to a diva I've ever had is Bette Midler. And I think Bette Midler was the, icon of the 80s. And, when we all got to know her, her story coming out, or becoming, a good, the person that she is started out in gay bathhouses and performing. And I find that absolutely fascinating. I think she's a person that has always been around to be supportive of the LGBT community. It's no surprise that the LGBT community helped make her, create who she was and who she became. So as far as, a diva, I would look at her.
Okay, I think mine, if I had to choose one, it was really hard to decide because there's so many great people out there. But I think I would do Gloria Gaynor, and her song that always just kind of is lifting up is "I Will Survive." No matter what you go through or what you do, you're going to survive life and just keep it going. Don't let it bring you down. And so there's so many people out there that it's kind of hard to just pin it down to one. So
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
yeah, let's do a couple more questions here. Then we have another question from someone. Let's see. What about what is your favorite food?
Mexican.
Oh, Mexican. I probably should have known that.
Right.
Hands down, huh?
Hands down, there's no better
Hands.
than Mexican food.
I used to say, because I travel so much with my job for just 20 something years or whatever, that I eat 3 times a week, 365 days a year. Jamie and my sister make fun of me for saying that, but then I've kind of gotten away from that. But, you eat so much of it, you don't know that you really have a favorite. But if I really had to choose one, I think it would be German food. I love the pork chops and sauerkraut and that kind of thing. So Mexican is up there on the list.
Is that why you like your Wiener Schnitzel?
Say it again?
Is that why you like your Wiener Schnitzel?
I love Wiener Schnitzel, of course. You should know better.
I know. Jamie likes, or Glamour likes Wiener Schnitzel.
Glamour likes just about anything. We can't talk about Glamour without her not liking so many different kinds of food. So another question's been brought to the table from Sister Mary.
Do you have a favorite manifestation?
Do you have a favorite manifestation?
I do.
A favorite yearly event?
Or a favorite yearly event? So you're
I
pretty new, Sister Iva, but can you answer part of that question maybe?
I could certainly answer my favorite manifestation. And
Okay, good.
it was a small one. We monthly here in South Florida, the sisters have host the Pride Skate at our local skating rink, and we were there one night, and I wore my typical black morning dress for the sisters, and Sister Amora and I decided we were going to go out and make a video of us skating on. Now she's much better at skating than I am, but we were going to go out. I was going to film us skating, and it was so hysterical. My dress kept getting caught in my wheels, and the camera kept falling, and I headed towards the wall, and Amora screaming, "Abort! Abort! Abort!"
Of course she did.
It was one of the funnest 2 hours I've ever spent, and thinking, what possessed me to wear a long dress, flowy dress?
Yeah, what possessed you?
To a skating rink. But that was my all-time favorite so far, and of many things that I've done in my life. But I have to say that's one of my favorites of everything. And it just so happened to be a manifestation. So
well, that's great. So I'm hoping that through all this crazy COVID, that we're able to bring that back and things get semi back to normal. Unfortunately for me, it's usually on a Wednesday night. And because I travel all over the United States for my work, I'm hardly able to go to those, but I do enjoy those. And one time there, it wasn't my favorite manifestation, but a lot of deaf people showed up. And so that was really, really good for me. But one of my favorite events is, I think we have the Bambusa Babes and the South Florida Sisters. We do twice a year. We do a competition to see who outshines the other one, if you will, to win the trophy. And that's always real fun. And that's done over in Fort Myers. I know October, but maybe like April as well. But so when you go over there, they're just so welcoming, and all the patrons, come through, and it's such a really, really good time.
Yeah, one more question.
And then and we have another
money at that event too. They raise a ton of money.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, we raised a lot of good money for charities on that event. Absolutely.
Ida and Sister Norma Lee put that on, so it's a great event.
Okay, so we got another question, and then we have a little lightning round. So the other question is from Austin Summers, and she wants to know, how do you join the sisters? So what I would say, and I'll let you pipe in too, but one of the things is, if you're interested in joining, check with one of the sisters and see when our next meeting is going to be. And then you would go through the process if you're interested in going. But Iva, since you're fairly new of going through that process, why don't you go ahead and explain how you got involved and what the process has been, of what it is.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because it was in Mother's Day. Remember, did the smart ride going down to Key West, and on our way home, I sat through a conference call with the sisters on their meeting, and that was my first real introduction to the sisters. I think shortly after that, about 3 months, went by that I attended a meeting here and there, and then I decided to show my interest. So I went to the meeting and asked that I was interested in joining. Yep. And our sister of novices at the time was Luna, Sister Luna. So that helped me quite a bit. You and Glamour, of course, were, big help. You answered a lot of questions for me, which was nice. So we did a 3-month, I'm trying to say it was an aspirancy, right?
Mm-hmm. Correct, yeah.
Correctly. And then after 3 months, I entered the postulant, became a postulant, and I was a postulant for 3-4 months, right about that time. I think I stayed a little bit longer as a postulant. I wasn't quite ready to make that jump into novice. And then a novice gives us 6 months of being a novice. And, with each section, you have a certain amount of manifestations that you have to go to or you have to complete and participate in the meetings and show the house that you're wanting to become a member. The coronavirus has put a damper on that deeply.
Absolutely.
Which has made it quite hard because you can't go anywhere.
Exactly.
But after you do at the end of your novice, Austin, is you do a project, a sister project or novice project from what I understand. And there's different categories that you can do your project in. I'm working on 2 of mine right now, which, one happens to be educational and the other happens to be, I think it's, what do we call it? A social?
Community service, probably.
Community service, that's it. And you present that to the house, and the biggest idea is that you get like Finga said earlier, you get the sisters together. It's something that I plan and put it together, and I do the organization, and then everyone that wants to help out with it, and hopefully our whole house would help out with every novice project when we go out and do it, and then after that hopefully our next step would be to advance to a fully professed nun. So.
Right. And what I would add to that is, you said that very well, but what I would also add to that is, just remember, if you want to join the sisters, it's more of a calling, and it's also on your own journey. You're going through this journey at your own pace. Just because we say that, it's, the aspirancy is you're just aspiring to be a fully professed sister. You check us out, we check you out, and you kind of go with us and see what it's all about. And then through that course, it doesn't mean you are going through it as a specific time frame. Just because it says 3 months here and 3 months there and 6 months, if you need to take longer, it's about the journey. It can take you a year and a half, or whatever. So you base it on what your process is going to be.
It's a big give and take. You don't, it's a lot of commitment, and it's easy when you don't have a commitment, or it's not, if it's not as a calling, because if it's not a calling, you just walk away. If it is a calling, it's like, okay, I got to change my thought process. I've got to see it from the other side. So it's a lot of give and take back and forth. to get you to these points. But I agree that it's, some people want to get it done as fast as possible, and some people don't. It just depends on how much time you have available to do it.
Right. And it's your heart's in the right place and you enjoy doing this community service and all of that. I agree with that. So I don't think we have too many more questions, do we? So we're going to go in this little lightning round to wrap it up, and then we'll do a last introduction and thank everyone for coming. But so we have these little questions, Sister Iva, and we're going to bounce them back quite a bit. It's just going to be, you choose one of those items. So
Okay.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Tea for me. Hamburger or hot dog?
Hamburger.
Hamburger for me. Day or night?
Day.
And I chose night because I'm usually up late at night anyway. So ice cream or cake?
Definitely cake.
I said cake as well. Hot or cold?
I don't know how to answer that one.
Well, I'm going to say hot because I love the heat and it can never get too hot for me. Beach or the pool?
The pool.
And I said the beach, so I like the sand. Black or white?
I don't have a favorite.
I like them both. Yeah, I'm with you. Snow or sand?
Sand.
I said sand too.
I live in
Ketchup
a-
or mustard?
Definitely mustard. I hate ketchup.
Oh, and I'm the opposite of you. Interesting. I love ketchup and absolutely hate mustard.
I eat mustard on anything.
Not me. If you give it to me, I'll probably throw up. Cookies or cake?
Cookies.
Of course. Cat or dog? I
Dog.
think I know yours.
Yeah, dogs.
Dogs, yeah. And I don't have any animals, so that's kind of a hard one. I can do, I don't know, either one. I travel. But I have fish. So I have a big 60-gallon fish tank. So I guess that would be mine, and throw it in the mix.
And you have glamour.
And I have glamour. I love it.
Kindness above shade.
Thank you. That's part of our sparkle. Pancakes or waffles, moving right along.
Pancakes,
I
obviously.
knew you was going to say pancakes. Mine is the same. Well, here's a good one for you, because I don't know how you're going to answer this one. Text message or phone call?
A phone call.
A phone call, that would be me. I prefer that. Chocolate or vanilla?
Chocolate.
I'll
Well,
say vanilla. I'm
If it's
picky about
ice
chocolate.
cream, it's vanilla. But I love hot chocolate at nighttime.
That's true. I would go with that. Superman or Batman?
Don't care.
Well, I'll choose Batman. Breakfast or dinner?
Breakfast.
And I said dinner, but I think I'm going to change mine to dinner too, because I love eggs and toast and all that good stuff.
Breakfast.
And then how about the last one? Facebook or Instagram?
Oh, good God.
I know. I would.
I'm a 20th century girl, and I don't do well with either. So I have no idea what I know how to get on Facebook and barely talk, and that's it. I don't even know what Instagram is. Have no idea.
That's the same with me. I don't do either until I joined the sisters, and even with another organization, I rarely get on Facebook, and my kids will say, "You didn't answer the event that I went to." And I said, that's because I don't know. If you want me to come to my grandson's birthday party, then pick up the phone and call me or send me a text message. I don't know how to find that stuff in there. So I'm not too computer savvy, even though I train software. So anyway, with that, we will wrap this up and just let you know you are here with Meet the Sisters, Sister Finga Lickin Good, and Novice Sister
Iva got your back.
I've got you back, and we've had a wonderful time doing this Facebook Live, Meet the Sisters. If you have any other questions, you'll see all of this recorded. I think it's going to be uploaded on YouTube, and it'll be on the Facebook Live, I think. So with that being said, if no one has any other questions, we'll sign off, and thank you all so much for joining. Thank you, Novice Sister Iva, for your time and doing this with me.
And thank you for being there for me as my sister mother. I appreciate the interest that you have in me, and thank you to the South Florida Sisters.
Precious Cargo is watching.
We have Precious Cargo watching. Hello, Precious.
Hey, Precious.
Yes, that was good.
She's a fun girl, that one.
Yes, she is. So with that being said, we will sign off and hope you all enjoyed it and be on the lookout for more of these to come. We're going to do these pretty much every weekend, maybe with a little different spin, but we'll have more of Meet Your the Sister. So keep in tune and watch out for that.
Thanks very much, sweetheart. And thank you, everyone, for checking us out and asking us some questions.
Yes, thank you so much for joining us, and we'll say good night.
Good night.